Alright, y'all. I'm actually trying to recover from bronchitis, so more than likely, I'm not going to have this to be a somewhat of a long. I guess I can't necessarily call it a review because I'm not going to really go match by match. But I will say this overall, the SmackDown show. It was okay. It wasn't great, and it wasn't as consistent as Raw was. Well, not really so much consistency. The one big issue that I kind of had with SmackDown this time definitely was the fact that John Cena's tie with Ric Flair wasn't as celebrated as I thought it would be because it's a feat. This is the one thing that they have literally been pushing and talking about since Cena got the championship for the 15th time. They always geared us up for the 16th time that he was going to win, but it's literally kind of pushed in the back burner and it's not being as celebrated as it should be because that's a feat. Flair's tie should be not only appreciated, it should be respected. And sure, a lot of people will be pissed off if John Cena goes to the 17th mark. But the thing is that I haven't heard more people that gave John Cena mad respect in years since the Rumble. Last night's Rumble, well, Sunday night's Rumble, they gave John Cena the respect that he was due. Yeah, sure, you're going to have a few haters out there. But the guy had a massive amount of respect after the Rumble. The fact that you had people cheer him and you even had naysayers clap for him. That was an amazing match that they had with AJ Styles. Not only that, it remained consistently awesome. Now, the one thing that bothers me the most is that John Cena tied with Ric Flair's record, and it was not talked about like it should have been. It wasn't even celebrated. It wasn't even, no confetti, nothing. I actually expected something to come from this. I mean, shoot, they shoved every single last record down our throats when it came to Raw's record, when it came to Nikki Bella holding the Divas Championship, when it came to the New Day beating Demolition's record. They shoved every single record that they could find down our throats for months. And they couldn't mention anything as epic as Flair's record? The one record that even Jon Stewart tried to maintain to prevent John Cena from actually winning. And yes, I did bring that up, but because I know Jon Stewart's a fan, so I'm gonna let that go. But other than that, it was so sacred. Like last year and the year before that, Flair's record has been sacred for years. Nobody wanted Cena to beat it. But now, after seeing the Rumble, everyone's comfortable with John Cena actually winning. So why not go for it with this? Now, and I'm gonna go to something else that bothers me the most. Well, I'll make that last. But okay, I know I'm just going back and forth here. But I'm going to go to the second thing that bothers me. The second thing that bothers me is the fact that Naomi is always in these tag team matches. Now, I know people are like, well, it's setting up a feud with Alexa Bliss. How? Alexa Bliss is always teamed up with Mickie James and whoever other heel that she's around. And then you always have Naomi teaming up with Becky Lynch or whoever other heel is around. Or face is around, in other words. You don't really see Naomi one-on-one with Alexa Bliss. So how is it building a feud? I'm tired of her being teamed up with people. We know that she is a very athletic woman. She should be doing singles runs without having to team up with anybody. If you want to build a decent feud, and it has something going with the fact that Alexa Bliss disrespected her, go from there. Have her interrupt matches. Have them interfere with each other. Have her literally snatch the weave off her head. Because yes, that is a term that people in the South say a lot when it actually happens. And when you say snatch that person bald, you literally snatch a chick bald by ripping her extensions out of her head. That is what that term is. She hasn't done that yet. I haven't seen the extensions that she waves in her face. I haven't seen that yet. And I'm talking about an actual rip from the head. Haven't seen that yet. But other than that, that can be geared to it, especially in a match. You can literally rip a chick's hair bald. I don't want her to do that literally, but just pull an extension out. I mean, shoot, it happened with Charlotte multiple times in every match she's in. But other than that, I digress. I would love to see Naomi actually in singles matches instead of being teamed up with somebody. Now I'm going to move on to the one thing that has literally got me anxious moving on to the Elimination Chamber. Now, this is a huge rumor and a huge possibility that they are going to be pushing Bray Wyatt to be the champion in the Elimination Chamber. As happy as this should make me, this makes me incredibly anxious and also pissed off at the same time. Number one, it makes John Cena's tie look irrelevant and has no purpose when it has a major purpose. He tied the great legend that is Ric Flair. And it's not because, of course, in Nature Girl, yes, I'm a huge Ric Flair fan, but it's not because of just that. It's because of the fact that Ric Flair's record was something that was held sacred for many years. And John Cena has come close to beating it. This means something. Not so much Bray Wyatt. This means something. That means a lot more than Bray Wyatt's win. I'm sorry, it does. It trumps it by a mile. And I'm a huge fan of Bray Wyatt. I'm a huge fan of his heeldom. I'm a huge fan of what he stands for as a psychotic heel. But that is minor compared to what John Cena was about to do. Sure, I know he has a lot of other things planned after WrestleMania. I get that. Or maybe before. I don't know. But the thing of it is that if John Cena is going to be leaving after the Chamber, then okay, fine. I'll let that go. But if he's going to be at WrestleMania, it makes no sense for him to drop the belt now. It doesn't. And as for Bray Wyatt, the reason why I kind of object to Bray Wyatt actually winning is not only does it just make the Ric Flair's record tie with Cena look irrelevant, it's also nothing but a push for Randy Orton. We're going to have 2 transition wins all in a row. Literally back to back. From the Rumble to the Elimination Chamber. From John Cena transitioning to Bray Wyatt. From Bray Wyatt transitioning to Orton. If you guys honestly think that Bray Wyatt, as badly as they booked him throughout all these years, if you honestly think that Bray Wyatt is going to have a healthy title reign, all I can say is just read between the lines. Since when have they ever promoted him unless he has somebody next to him? The Wyatt family has been struggling to get over for years. What makes you think that he's going to get over now? Because of Randy? Randy's on his way out. He probably wants one more championship run before he dips out. Especially now that he's a new dad. But other than that, this is a transition win for Randy Orton, man. And we've seen very short title reigns before. Can we say Zack Ryder? Every time the dude wins a belt, it's taken from him 24 hours later. Can we say Sasha Banks, who literally had 3 weeks of the women's title in her hands, multiple times, hot potato, and then have it snatched out of her hands once again on a Raw? She wins on a Raw and loses on a pay-per-view. 3 weeks. Each time. 3 freaking weeks. What makes you think that Bray Wyatt is going to have a month? I doubt he'll have a month. I doubt he even have 7 days. I honestly think that Bray Wyatt is probably going to lose it on a SmackDown. I would not be surprised. Or somehow they have this going on to WrestleMania. I doubt they will. I really doubt they will. Something is telling me that they're going to drop it to Orton somehow, either on a SmackDown, possibly on a SmackDown, because I don't know if they're having I think their SmackDown isn't having a pay-per-view in March. But the one thing that I do know is that he's going to drop it. Probably in February, or maybe sometime in March. I do not think that Bray Wyatt is going to have that title leading on up to WrestleMania. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. But honestly, guys, the proof is in the pudding. The facts is pretty much in your face. They cared little for Bray Wyatt for years until Randy Orton came out of nowhere. No pun intended for his RKO out of nowhere. But other than that, the thing is that he literally was being dumped into obscurity until Randy Orton came by his side. And now it's actually literally being like some sort of foreshadowing, showing it as a possibility that Randy Orton is going to go against Bray before WrestleMania, and he might take the belt from him. I really do see this as a transition win, and I don't think it's going to fare well for Bray Wyatt, because if Bray Wyatt loses the belt, he has nothing. They will literally dump him again into obscurity, and then you have to find a way to get out. Unless Eric Rowan comes back and they bring into the fold the Sister Abigail angle. I don't know how they'll do it, since they kind of said that Sister Abigail is dead, but either or, if they actually do have the Sister Abigail angle, Because as we saw on SmackDown tonight, that Luke Harper still is a little hesitant and going towards Bray. Fighting against Bray. It could be a possibility that we might have the family come back again, but with Sister Abigail as the matriarch. Could be. That's just my overall theory. But I do not see Bray Wyatt being a long-term champion. I see him less than a few days. That's just me. And I don't think it'll go well with Bray if they don't do the Sister Abigail angle. He'll just try to have to reinvent himself again. I honestly feel that way, y'all. But other than that, as for the SmackDown really wasn't bad. Even though I do have a few gripes here and there. It wasn't as good as Raw because Raw had a major amount of consistency right after the Rumble, but I can't say the same thing about SmackDown. SmackDown's consistency really was lacking. Don't get me wrong, they did mention a few things after the Rumble, but it was like on to business as usual. They didn't really stick to what was going on. Raw did. Raw stuck all the way to the hilt. They even brought back what Braun Strowman remembered a month ago about Kevin Owens keeping that promise to him about going for the Universal title. I didn't see much consistency tonight. The only consistency that I saw was Nikki Bella and Natalya still fighting. And John Cena mentioning the fact that he tied a record. Those are the only two things that I have seen that's consistency based-ish for SmackDown. And it wasn't much. But the show wasn't bad. I just wish they remained consistent leading on to WrestleMania. But despite my huge amount of concerns for Bray Wyatt, some of the gripes that I have about some of the wrestlers, as well as the lack of consistency that I saw in the show itself was not bad. And I'm not going to say it was a horrible show for it. I would just say it was average. But other than that, guys, what are your thoughts? I'm going to leave a little probably voting space up above so you guys can tell me how you feel about SmackDown. So leave your comments in the comment section below about how you feel about SmackDown. And let me know if you like the show. I'm curious to know. Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.